So it's official. Cyberpunk 2 has officially entered pre-production. And for those who don't know, it's supposed to be the sequel to Cyberpunk 2077 from 2020. It's a game that a lot of people have grown to love, mainly because of the fact that it was one of those games that people have been waiting to see for a very, very long time. It was a game that was hyped since like 2013 and didn't get released till 2020. Initially, the game got panned because of its bugs and glitches, on top of having to wait damn near a decade for its release. But as CD Projekt decided to patch things up and what have you, um, the game and its overall quality got better and people had but good things to say about it. And there's a lot of things about Cyberpunk 2077 that people like. They like the fact that the game has like 7 endings. They like the weaponry included in the game. They like the aesthetics. They like the dialogue, the attention to detail, just all kinds of there's all kinds of like positive things about Cyberpunk 2077 that people loved about the game. And I think that game had a budget somewhere on the ballpark between 435 and like 441 million. And and yeah, I mean, like that game made millions, if ever since it was released. Cause I think it made like around like 30 million, or it did like 30 million copies in terms of overall sales. And honestly, that's something that you don't see too often in like high profile RPG games nowadays. So I think, the RPG genre is as popular as the first person shooter genre was during the 2000s for the most part. And as far as the details regarding the game being in pre-production, Cyberpunk 2 I think is being worked on by like 96 different developers from CD Projekt Red. At least that's something that was reported by IGN. And the rest of the staff is actually working on the upcoming Witcher 4 game, which is supposed to be coming out sometime in the future. An official release date for that game has not been revealed just yet, but we do know that Cyberpunk 2 is going to be coming out after The Witcher 4, and we don't have a release date for that either, but I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't get that game until like around 2030, considering how long CD Projekt made us wait for Cyberpunk 2077. And and yeah, a lot of people have high hopes for this game, and I do feel like Cyberpunk 2077 is one of those games that will keep people preoccupied until this next game comes out because of how many endings it has and because of its high replay values. And I do feel that Cyberpunk 2 is going to come out when we move on to the next generation of gaming. And I'm talking about like the PlayStation 6 and whatever Microsoft is going to call their new Xbox console when all that comes out, because Microsoft's new Xbox console is supposed to be coming out in 2027, I believe. I don't know when the PS6 is coming out, but I would say we're at least halfway through the life cycle of the PlayStation 5 in retail, because the PlayStation 5 came out in late 2020, and that means it's been out for over 4 years now. So, yeah, we're about at the halfway point with the PlayStation 5 being in retail. But but yeah, I do feel like Cyberpunk 2 is it's kind of a weird name for a sequel, because with the first game we got Cyberpunk 2077, so we had an idea on where the game was going to be set at and what have you. But with this game, I do feel it's probably going to have a futuristic aesthetic like the other game did, and and I'm not exactly sure whether or not the plot is going to be significantly different or what type of changes CD Projekt plan on making with Cyberpunk 2. But there's been rumors regarding this upcoming Cyberpunk game having branching storylines, which I do feel is going to grab a lot of people's attention. And I feel like that's something that needs to be included in just like general RPG games, because it makes it more exciting. It adds to its overall replay value, and My only fear is that by the time Cyberpunk 2 comes out in like 2030 or what have you, it's like, will gaming still be affordable by then? Will people really care by then? Will corporations be greedier than ever and basically make you pay for like, I guess, a fraction of the game and then have you pay for the rest through DLC? I have no idea, just the state of gaming is not really great, especially with all these layoffs and, prices for games going up and just some of the mess that corporations pull in general. It's like, will people still be interested in gaming by the time we get to 2030? um it's like, will consoles be able to sell in retail like they do now? Because, a lot of people feel like the PlayStation 5, the price for that was outrageous. They feel like the price for the Switch 2 is outrageous on top of the cost for the games. And I have no idea what Cyberpunk 2 is going to end up costing by the time it comes out. It's probably going to be like over $100 or something like that, and that's something I'm expecting for Grand Theft Auto 6 when it comes out. Um, I don't know, but like me, I'm willing to give video games a chance before I just completely jump on and rag on it. So, yeah, Cyberpunk 2077 was a game that people thought was overrated before it came out because people were talking about it like it was going to be the greatest game ever. And when it came out, it initially got panned before people started praising it. So I don't know. I mean, we'll just have to sit back and wait and see what happens. But it's going to be a very long time before Cyberpunk 2 releases.